Hi, my name is Jody Darren, and I'm committed to bringing you valuable wisdom and also people who are really making a difference in the world. Well, I want to introduce you today to someone who's made a great difference in my life and also the lives of thousands of graduates all over the world. She's been leading workshops for over 35 years, and she's using techniques such as quantum physics, universal divine law. She uses Native American ceremony, the law of attraction, spiritual and experiential games that are truly outstanding. She uses group dynamics, business and prosperity principles, plus she's a student in the lineage of Buckminster Fuller. And I'd like to introduce you to Burge Lyons. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Jody. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, Burge, tell me a little bit about how you started this journey and the path that brought you to where you are today.
Well, my background, I've always been an educator, and so I love teaching people things, and so I was teaching children and adults, but I was an actor. That was my background too. I was singing and dancing and acting, and what I wanted to do was to get the actors in touch with their feelings and their emotions, and so that emotional realm is where I started with, because I wanted to be able to help people access that so that they could share it and that they could express it outwardly and authentically. And so that's why I started this whole journey, was being able to help actors, and it evolved into what it has today.
And as far as getting into that essence, can you describe what essence is?
Wow, essence is the purest form of, it's like the nucleus of who you are. And so that's why I call the essence of abundance, essence of being, essence of relationships, because it gets to the core. So I love the expressions and the actual transformations that happen with people, because they get in touch with their core beliefs. And some of them don't serve them as well as they'd like, and some of them do. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we help people identify what are those core beliefs. And then if it's something that doesn't serve them, we help them shift it and help them release it and put a new core belief in. Because our beliefs are handed down from generation to generation to generation, and sometimes we get influenced by all of this, society, religion, parents, and teachers, and all of that. And so our essence is that connection, that core belief of who we are. And how do we represent that, and how do we express that in the world?
Sure, because what happens is everyone tells us how we should do things, and all these things build up, and before you know it, we have a shell around us, right?
Exactly. We call them be cool shells. That's right. I've had 17 bad relationships in a row, but I'm cool. Yeah. So yeah, we do. We form those around us, and what we do is we blow those away so that we can get to the essence.
Right. And I know you've talked about this in some of your workshops, that if you have something going poorly in your life and it keeps happening again and again and again, this pattern, there's one common denominator.
Yes. Me. Right? So we all have, what I've created is this thing called bubble talk. And bubble talk, it's sort of, you ever see those cartoon characters that have the bubble above their head?
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking.
The comic strips.
Yeah. So this is your unconscious thought that basically can block you from getting what you want in relationships, in careers, in money, in purpose, in clarity, all of that, because we don't know it's there. It's unconscious. And I just found out the other day that I believe the science of it now is they've said that 400,000 more thoughts are thought on the unconscious level than the conscious level.
Wow.
Yeah. So if that's true, I mean, how important is it to know what your unconscious is thinking?
So we can get in there and discover what our unconscious is thinking, and when we bring that to the surface, what happens then?
Then you can actually shift it. So once you bring it to that conscious level, you go, oh, that's not what I really want. That's not aligned with who I am. Or you ever do affirmations or do things positive, you think positive, and things still don't exactly come the way you want it or when you want it, or I still have that relationship that isn't working, or I still have that job that I don't like, that kind of thing. So what we say is, could be that your conscious and your unconscious is not aligned. It's sort of like if you're driving a car and you put your gas on, and your gas is your desires, your gas is your conscious thought. I want a red Mercedes, or I want a great relationship. And the brake can be your resistance to that, or your unconscious belief about that. You don't even know you're thinking that. So what happens when you have your brake and your gas on at the same time.
Spinning your wheels.
Exactly. You spin your wheels, you go nowhere. And so what most people do, I've found in the last 30 little years I've been doing this, is that people let go of their gas. They let go of their desire. They settle. And they say, well, maybe it's just not for me. Maybe I'm not supposed to have that.
They give up.
They give up, and they think, well, this is as good as it gets. And so what we like to do is help people let go of the brake and let go of the resistance or that unconscious belief that could be blocking them. They don't even know it's there, so that their gas can go.
Sure, and it brings back the possibility and the desire and the inspiration.
Exactly.
For the life you really want.
Exactly. So it's good. So that's what we've been doing for the last, Essence of Being has been around for 23 years, but the evolvement started way back with Buckminster Fuller.
Yeah, tell us about that and how it relates to what you do.
Okay, so we call him Bucky. Marshall Thurber is someone who started Money in You, and DC Cordova now has Money in You, and it's her baby. And there's a game that we play that Marshall invented that is, he's a protege of Bucky, or he was, because Bucky's somewhere else now and beyond. And basically what it does is it taps into that innermost belief about yourself, about love, about what you believe about trust, about abundance, about commitment, about integrity, about self-esteem. But Bucky was this brilliant man. He saw things in a totally different way. He's the one who coined the phrase win-win. You ever heard of that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And synergy. He created the geodesic dome, but he had a lot of different ways of seeing the world that was totally unique. And what we do is we take a lot of those concepts, combined with a lot of the other things that you mentioned earlier, and it's very eclectic. We put it all together, and it's evolved into this experience that taps into all different kinds of modalities and a lot of different ways, just so people can really see who they are and know that they make a difference in the world. It's really important, because my belief is if people can understand how important they really are and how much they matter, that the world will be a better place. And that's what Bucky was all about.
What are these subconscious thoughts doing for us? I mean, really, they come from our childhood a lot of times, and they're here, and they're really holding us back from having the life we want, right?
Right, yeah. So the subconscious thoughts could be things like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not safe, I can't take risks, money doesn't grow on trees, girls are seen and not heard, boys don't cry. All of these things, that even if you were raised in a perfect environment, these beliefs and these thoughts are still out there, and they're the consciousness.
Right, they're kind of like a blueprint, more or
Yeah.
less. So you're saying that when we shift these, now is this something that's going to last? Because a lot of times people go to a workshop and they have this high and they're like, oh, everything's great, and then it's like a crash.
We call that the halo effect, okay? And so the way that we do it and the different techniques that we use, it really shifts people on a cellular level. Now, it's a process, and the thing is, if you still have influence, okay, pulling you back, I call it crabbing, where you've got people crabbing you, no, you have to think this way again, okay? You surround yourself with people of like mind that it can at least empower you and remind you of your experiences and who you are. So it's really important to understand that you shift on a cellular level, yes, and some people really need some connection with people of like mind, and that's why we call it the healing forest.
Okay.
And the healing forest comes from the Native American term where you take a sick tree and you nurture it, take it out of the sick forest, and you nurture it and you put it into a healing forest, and it thrives and it flourishes and everything. But if you put it back into a sick forest, it could get sick again.
Right.
So what we say is create a healing forest around you, and that basically is people of like mind to remind you of the real truth about yourself, and to encourage you to have your power and stand in your integrity and be who you are, and not give in to other influences.
Right.
Not that I believe anybody's needing to be fixed,
Right.
or that anybody really needs to be healed, because my belief is that we're all perfect in our own way, and we just have to be reminded of it.
Sure, this is back to this authenticity piece. You know, when we're really in our core, we feel aligned with ourselves, then we're free to be who we really are.
Free to be you and me.
Yeah,
That's a show
definitely.
I did a long time ago.
You know, and I love how you say this cellular learning too,
Yeah.
because just to explain that a little bit, the cellular learning is like riding a bike. If you were to tell a child, this is how you ride a bike. You sit on the seat, you put your right foot on the right pedal and the left foot on the left pedal, and you push down with one foot and you balance and you hold onto the handlebars, go. Yeah, it's not that easy. We've all been there. Crash, crash, crash. But little by little, you figure it out, find your way, and you don't forget how to ride a bike. This is cellular learning. This is what you mean by this,
Yes,
correct?
very much so. And we use a technique also called super learning, which integrates the left and the right brain. And so we create a whole brain experience. So we play games,
Yes.
and we have exercises, because what we have found is that the way you play games is the way you play life. And that is also how your subconscious comes out. So you're not controlling it and going, I'm not going to play it this way. But you do. And you get to really look at, oh my gosh, that's how it really is in my life. That's exactly what happens.
Sure. And I think there's a value to the group dynamic as well, because the group becomes this microcosm of your life, and there are people there that will show up as certain relationships, like a mother or a coworker, and it creates this safe environment where you really have a lot of trust, but an environment that you can work through things and really shift them with the group.
Absolutely, absolutely, because they're mirrors. We're all mirrors for each other. And so what happens is, in that group dynamic, whether it be a microcosm of your life in your corporate, or your life in your family, or your life in your friends, it shows up that way so that you can look at it. Because a lot of times, the mirrors that we bring to ourselves, in other words, we're mirrors for each other, and so that we can actually work through that with the help of other people. So it's really awesome.
It really is awesome. Burge, thank you so much for the work you do, and keep making a difference in the world.
Welcome, and you too, Jody.
Thank you.
Thank you.